Hey Optimancers, Chris here. So it's March 31st and April 1st is tomorrow. But seriously, no joke. In the past week or so, I've been seeing some opinions online that if a player character dies in D&D, it's a failure of the DM, and that players can form a real attachment to their character, and that their character dying can cause actual trauma. Now, this seems pretty odd to me because character death has always been a possibility in any D&D game I DM because I believe risk makes for a more engaging game. I also think, and this is just my opinion, that your D&D character may in fact be fictional, and their quote-unquote death isn't actually like a real person dying at all. But then again, maybe it's a Matrix-like thing where we're the fictional characters and our D&D characters are the real ones. So with that in mind, I do think we should be sensitive if a player is upset at the death of their character. So although I won't go so far as to say that I'll run games where PC survival is assured, I have gained some knowledge through experience of behaviors that I have learned to avoid that can apparently make a player feel worse when their character has died. So here are my top 10 behaviors for DMs to avoid when a player character dies, and I understand that some of these are going to be hard to get your head around. Like, why are these behaviors unacceptable? But just take my word for it. I've tried these out, and in all cases, I've found it has made the experience worse for the player. Oh, and before we go any further, a DM in Bartlesville, Oklahoma was about to celebrate after a hard-earned TPK with a nice glass of Beaujolais, as one does, when this happened to their corkscrew. Now, this DM was not a subscriber of my channel, and it would be irresponsible for me to claim that's why this happened. But it would also be irresponsible for me to claim that's not why it happened. I mean, who knows? The world works in mysterious ways. The point is, if you aren't subscribed and you want to take the chance to not subscribe now, well, you need to manage your own risks in life. So here's 10 behaviors DMs should avoid after a PC dies in their game. Number 10. So it turns out that if you mime wiping away tears and you say, "Oh, boo-hoo, you gonna cry now, baby?" This is frowned upon by a large portion of players. Because now if they do cry, like a baby, the other players will tend to point and laugh. The point is, don't do it. Players should be allowed and feel free to act like a baby if their character dies. Number 9. Don't grab their character sheet and rip it in half. The ripping in half of the character sheet is the right of any player when they have a temper tantrum after the character dies. For you to take that away from them is unfair. This will get disapproval of the entire table. Number 8. Don't describe how nobody went to the character's funeral. Now, I understand this is a narrative game, and people might want to know what happened at their character's funeral, and how the invitations were sent out, and no one cared enough to go. Normally, this is great DMing. But what this will tend to do, and I understand this isn't easy to comprehend, but often when you describe the funeral of the player character and just how desolate an affair it is, the player might start thinking about their own funeral and about how nobody loves them. This isn't something you want to remind the player of. D&D is supposed to be escapism from the player's own terrible life. Number 7. Don't rule that all raised dead spells cease to function because, and I quote, "the gods hate your stupid character too." I mean, maybe the gods do hate their stupid character, but D&D is supposed to have mystery involved in it, and it can be a fun diversion for the surviving player characters to try to discover why the raised dead spells are no longer working. Leave little clues like pictures of the deceased character soaked in the urine of a god. Basically what I'm saying is, if you just tell them why the raised dead spell stopped working, you're missing out on an opportunity for the rest of the party to go on an adventure. Number 6. Don't describe in gruesome detail how the monsters who killed the PC practice horrid indecencies on the body. Obviously, we expect that's what the monsters will be doing. But if you describe in gruesome detail these indecencies, You are in fact providing character knowledge that they should not possess. Getting this information should require resources expended, such as an arcane eye spell. Number 5, don't announce the death of the player character's new character before they are introduced. I understand the temptation to do this, and I have fallen into this trap myself. But if you do this, what you'll often end up doing is killing the player character before the player has finished making that player character. Trust me on this because I have been there. It is absolutely worth the wait to wait for that look of satisfaction on the player's face once they've gone through the hard work of making that player character and finally finishing it. Then you announce the death of that character. Number 4, and this one I have learned very recently. It is absolutely appropriate to say you should have played a halfling whenever a player rolls a natural 1. But I find it is less appreciated when that natural 1 was on a death save that killed the player character, and you add, you should have played a halfling, you moron. Now, I'm not sure if pointing out that they have been a moron, or whether it's just the timing that's taboo here. But one way or the other, it should be off limits. Number 3, after you kill their character, it's not appreciated if you then grab their milkshake and drink it. Now, everyone loves pop culture references in D&D, so I don't quite understand why this particular one gets taken poorly. And that milkshake was so damn delicious. But then my behavior was described as beyond the pale, which to my understanding means bad. So I will learn from my mistakes and share what I've learned with you. Number 2, if you declare, I win and you lose. Well, that is accurate. But as it turns out, it can cause bad feelings from players. The reason is because they know they lost and they know you won. So you pointing it out is suggesting they are too stupid to have figured that out for themselves. Now, when it becomes appropriate is if you see a look of confusion on the player's face after you kill their character. If they do not understand what just happened, then you inform them that they have lost and you have won. And number 1, don't provide a link to my channel and say, learn to optimize, you idiot. Because, of course, you've already provided the link to my channel to all your players, as all good DMs do. If you have failed to provide that link, then you are a bad DM, and there's nothing I can do to help you. So through experience, I have learned those are 10 things you just don't want to do when a player character dies. My advice, just take the win. It's fine to be happy, but you shouldn't be smug. Well, a little smug is okay. I guess it's okay to be a little smug as long as you don't show it. Then again, the players do appreciate you being open and honest with them, so I guess you do show the smugness. But don't laugh. Well, then again, people come to D&D to have a good time, and laughing is part of the experience. It means everyone's having fun, so I guess you do want to laugh. But don't point. Then again, I kind of suspect this whole thing about DMs and not killing characters has something to do with poor communication at the table. And what if they don't know who you're laughing at? Well, pointing makes it clear who the laughter is directed at, and that is good communication, which is part of being a good DM. I hope you enjoyed these 10 behaviors for a DM to avoid when a player character dies. Now, here's where I ask my viewers to make some kind of comment, because the YouTube algorithm really likes it if you comment on videos. But I guess if you actually want to comment something of substance, what behaviors do you employ when you're DMing and you've killed a player character in order to make sure everyone gets the most out of that experience? Let us know. And also reply to everybody else. In order to make it quick, what you type is, "That's great." And then you're going to copy and paste it after every single comment on this video. Then you hit the like button on the video. And then you have to log out and log in under a different account and like it again. And you have to do that 10 times, once for each behavior to avoid. Now, if there is something in this video that has made you angry or offended, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to cry, baby? You should have played a halfling. I did, and now I'm going to sit back, relax, and kill a PC. D&D is for the pile of dead bards. Thanks, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.